Hey, welcome to your Pisces horoscopes for the week of Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving this week here in the United States. If you're not in the United States, it's probably not Thanksgiving unless you guys got some sort of form of that going on over there, wherever you guys are, in which case have tons and tons of fun with that, of course. Holidays are great. They're tons of fun. It's a wonderful time for families to get together. And at the same time, it can be very stressful because families are getting together. So it can be, in many cases, a mixed blessing, depending on the situations going on around your family right now. We continue to have Saturn in Pisces. We continue to have Neptune in Pisces. Both planets sort of doing their thing in various different ways. We're going to start with Saturn because Saturn really is just in a square with the Sun and Mars. I'd say just in a square. It's the only aspect that he's got going on right now. With focus on self, Saturn's focus is on the responsibility to yourself. The Sun and Mars are focused on long-term goals, tremendous amounts of energy going towards that. But it feels like everything is getting in the way of you being able to even focus on that. And that's where the frustration really comes from. A lot of Pisces that I have worked with and known over the years have this tendency to say, I just can't do it. I tried to do it, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then that got in the way, and I just can't. You hear me? I can't. The minute you say you can't, you're not going to do it, period. And really, the biggest lesson in life is when you want to do something and a challenge is presented, is to find a way around the challenge rather than it just stopping you completely. Now, that doesn't work in every situation. Obviously, I know a few people out there who are Pisces that are in situations which are impossible to work around, and I get that. So we're not just looking at right now either. We're talking about long-term goals here, not your goals for tomorrow necessarily, but long-term goals. You can still set certain things in place now so that they're ready for when you can get back to them later on, if that makes sense. Neptune is in a square with Mercury this week. Neptune is also focused on self, still in retrograde, lots of intuition coming through. What blocks your intuition is how you mentally approach situations, specifically around your career, because Mercury is focused on your career. Couple of things actually come out of this a little bit here. First and foremost, I feel like when you put things in place to try and control the direction that your career is going into, it's almost like you inadvertently create challenges when you do that, because you have to let things flow. And that's what Pisces' whole MO is go with the flow. When you can't go with the flow, it causes problems. So you want to look at when you're facing these like brick walls that you can't get past, take a step back and go, am I trying to force what I want to happen, or am I going with the flow? Chances are you are trying to force what you want to happen and not going with the flow. And sometimes going with the flow helps to open things up a little bit or make that brick wall disappear in front of you. Neptune continues to be in a grand sextile with Uranus and Pluto. Uranus focused on the mind and how the mind works, while Neptune is also in a grand sextile with the Sun and Mars and Pluto as well. Pluto is focused on our innermost secrets, while the Sun and Mars are focused on long-term goals. Funny thing, but we have a challenge with all of that energy, and then all that energy is working in our favor at the same time. that happens a lot because the proximity of these two planets in Pisces are like one end or the other, right? So it makes it very easy for one to line up unfavorably and one to line up favorably. Bottom line is that the energy is there. You choose whether to use it to your advantage or you let it burn you up. And that's really what that's all about. You can be successful or you can hold yourself back. It's entirely up to you and the choices that you make. The minute you start saying, I can't because of this, it's usually other people involved. That's when you're handing your power away to somebody else. And that's what you want to avoid. Do everything you possibly can. Of course, you're not going to be able to do everything. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up over not being able to achieve everything. Pat yourself on the back for being able to do what you have been able to do and to take care of what you can take care of and leave the rest to when you can deal with it later, because it is a holiday week and there's a whole lot to do just for one day of eating. So really, you don't have a lot of time this week anyways, when you think about it. Take the time that you do have, enjoy it. Self-care is always important, obviously, because there is so much focus on you this week with both planets focused on self as well. So make sure that you're honoring you and your needs and what you need to do while you're taking care of your responsibilities. That's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending me a tip or donation through my coffee link in the description. I love coffees, would really appreciate that. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me this week. I will see you guys next week. In the meantime, enjoy your holiday. If you are celebrating a holiday, make it a great week. Make it a week where you take really good care of you, because that is important. And I will see you guys next week.